Chosen one, you know way too much, and that makes you dangerous. They watch you now with racing hearts because you hold the detonator to everything they've built. You just exist, knowing what you know, and that existence alone makes grown adults lose sleep. But what makes you truly dangerous isn't what you could reveal, it's what you're about to become because of what you know. The universe positioned you perfectly to witness their corruption. Now your silence speaks louder than any exposure could. Your success will be more devastating than any revenge. You've transcended the battlefield entirely. Some time ago you walked away from something, a job, a relationship, a group, a situation that no longer served you. You packed up your things, said your goodbyes, and left. They smiled and waved, probably celebrated your departure. But what they didn't realize was that you didn't just leave with your belongings, you left with everything, every secret, every scheme, every piece of evidence that could destroy what they were building. The information you gathered wasn't intentional at first. You weren't playing detective, you were just existing in your natural state of heightened awareness. But the universe kept positioning you perfectly. You'd walk into rooms at exactly the right moment. Documents would be left open when you passed by. Conversations would happen just within earshot. It was like the cosmos was building a case file through you, using your mind as a repository for truths that would one day matter. And now they're starting to realize what happened. The panic is setting in. Some of them lie awake at night, replaying every conversation they had in your presence. They're trying to remember what you might have seen, what you might have heard, what you might know. They're calculating the damage you could cause if you ever decided to speak. But here's what terrifies them most, your silence. Because they can't predict what you'll do with what you know. They can't control a weapon they don't understand. You've noticed the way certain people's energy shifts when you enter their space, the nervous laughter, the overcompensation, the attempts to suddenly befriend you after years of dismissal. They're trying to manage you now, trying to get close enough to monitor your movements, to gauge your intentions. Some have even tried to discredit you preemptively, planting small seeds of doubt about your character, just in case. Just in preparation for a war they're not sure is coming, but can't afford to lose. Your presence alone has become a psychological operation. Without saying a word, without making a move, you've created an atmosphere of uncertainty that follows you everywhere. You walk into a meeting and suddenly everyone's choosing their words more carefully. You appear at a gathering and watch how quickly certain topics get changed. You've become the silent alarm in their system, the one that's always armed but never goes off, keeping them in a perpetual state of alert. What you've uncovered goes so much deeper than personal betrayals or individual secrets. You've discovered the architecture of how entire systems operate. You see the invisible connections linking seemingly unrelated events. You understand the machinery behind the illusions. This isn't just about knowing who said what about whom. This is about understanding how the game is really played. Remember when certain opportunities mysteriously disappeared? When financial struggles appeared from nowhere? When relationships suddenly soured without explanation? You've figured it out by now, haven't you? None of it was random. There was intention behind every obstacle, design behind every setback. They needed to keep you contained because they recognized something in you before you recognized it in yourself. They saw your potential and decided it was too dangerous to let flourish, but their attempts to sabotage you had an unexpected consequence. Every attack taught you their methods. Every betrayal revealed their tactics. Every obstacle showed you how they operate. They thought they were weakening you, but they were actually providing you with a complete education in warfare. Now you don't just know their secrets, you understand their entire playbook. You can predict their moves before they make them. You can see their traps before they're set. The financial struggles weren't bad luck. They were designed to keep you dependent. The relationship sabotage wasn't coincidence. It was meant to isolate you. The career setbacks weren't random. They were orchestrated to limit your influence. But instead of breaking you, these experiences forged you into something they never expected, someone who could survive their worst and emerge with intelligence about exactly how they did it. You've become a decoder of reality. When someone offers help, you can see the strings attached. When someone pays a compliment, you can feel the agenda behind it. When someone claims innocence, you can trace their fingerprints all over the crime scene. This level of perception would drive most people to madness, but you've learned to navigate it with a grace that makes you even more dangerous. Your mind now operates like a quantum computer, processing information on multiple levels simultaneously. While others see surface interactions, you're reading body language, decoding subtext, recognizing patterns, and predicting outcomes all at once. You catch the micro-expressions that flash across faces. You hear the slight changes in tone that reveal deception. You notice the small inconsistencies that expose larger lies. This isn't paranoia, this is evolution. You've developed abilities that most people don't even know exist. What you might not fully realize yet is that you're not just holding random pieces of information, you're holding an entire intelligence network in your mind. Every secret connects to another secret. Every lie links to a larger deception. Every betrayal is part of a broader pattern. You've unconsciously mapped out entire networks of corruption, influence, and manipulation without even trying. Think about the implications of what you know. You could trace money flows without seeing bank statements. You could identify alliances without witnessing meetings. You could predict betrayals before they happen, based on patterns you've observed. Your mind has become a living algorithm that processes human behavior with frightening accuracy. You don't just know facts, you understand systems. You don't just see actions, you perceive motivations. If this message speaks to your soul, hype this video so other chosen ones can discover it. The depth of your knowledge creates ripple effects you're only beginning to understand. When you know one person's secret, you often know multiple people's secrets, because humans rarely operate in isolation. Their deceptions require accomplices, their schemes need enablers, their lies demand co-conspirators. So when you uncovered one truth, you actually uncovered an entire web of connected truths. This interconnected knowledge is what makes you particularly dangerous to established power structures. You don't just threaten individuals, you threaten entire networks. You don't just endanger single lies, you endanger whole narratives. You don't just risk exposing one person, you risk exposing entire systems of corruption. No wonder they can't sleep at night. You've also discovered something fascinating about information flow. Secrets move through networks in predictable patterns. Lies follow certain trajectories. Deceptions have signatures. You've learned to read these patterns like others read weather patterns. You can sense when new deceptions are being crafted. You can feel when cover-ups are being orchestrated. You can predict when scapegoats will be needed. This predictive ability makes you impossibly dangerous because you're not just reacting to what happened, you're anticipating what will happen. Something fundamental has shifted recently. Can you feel it? The universe is repositioning pieces on the board. The same forces that tried to keep you down are now struggling to maintain their own positions, because here's what they didn't account for: divine protection. Every time they tried to destroy you, something intervened. Every trap they set, you somehow avoided. Every weapon they formed mysteriously malfunctioned. You're starting to understand that the information you carry isn't just random knowledge, it's evidence of a larger pattern, a cosmic correction that's about to take place. You weren't just collecting secrets, you were documenting the fall of an empire before it happened. You were chosen to witness the architecture of corruption so you could help build something better in its place. The files in your mind aren't just leverage, they're blueprints. Every betrayal you witnessed taught you how not to build. Every scheme you observed showed you where foundations crack. Every lie you catalogued revealed where truth needs to be reinforced. You're not just dangerous because you could destroy. You're dangerous because you know exactly how to create something indestructible. Your very existence has become a countdown clock in their minds. Every day you remain silent, they wonder if today will be the day. Every time you achieve something new, they calculate whether success will make you more likely to speak or less. Every interaction with you becomes a complex psychological game where they're trying to read your intentions while hiding their fear. You've become the sword hanging over their heads by a thread they can't see and can't cut. You're experiencing something remarkable right now. All that scattered information in your mind is crystallizing into pure wisdom. The random observations are forming into complete understanding. The individual secrets are revealing themselves as part of a master pattern. Your consciousness is upgrading from storage to synthesis. You're not just holding information anymore, you're generating intelligence. This crystallization process is changing how you move through the world. You no longer need to actively observe because observation has become automatic. You don't need to analyze because analysis happens instantaneously. You don't need to remember because everything is already indexed and cross-referenced in your mind. You've become a living library of human nature, capable of reading any situation with perfect clarity. Your enemies are beginning to realize something terrifying. You're not just dangerous because of what you know about the past. You're dangerous because you can see the future. Your understanding of patterns allows you to predict outcomes. Your knowledge of behavior enables you to anticipate actions. Your grasp of motivations lets you foresee decisions. You've become prophetic in your ability to know what will happen before it happens. This prophetic quality makes you impossible to trap. They can't set snares for someone who sees them being built. They can't create illusions for someone who understands the mechanics of deception. They can't manipulate someone who recognizes every psychological trigger. You've become immune to the very weapons they've relied on for control, and that immunity is spreading to others who come into contact with you. The information you've been carrying, the weight you've been bearing, it was never meant to be permanent. You're approaching a transformation point where all that knowledge alchemizes into something else entirely: power. Not the kind that comes from threatening exposure, but the kind that comes from transcendent understanding. You're about to demonstrate something that will shatter their entire worldview. Success without revenge, victory without conflict, elevation without explanation. Your rise is going to be so profound, so undeniable, that it will serve as the ultimate revelation. When you reach heights they tried to prevent, when you manifest what they tried to block, when you achieve what they said was impossible, that will tell the entire story without you speaking a single word. The universe is clearing paths for you right now. Doors that were welded shut are starting to crack open. Resources that were blocked are beginning to flow. People who can actually help you are entering your life. This isn't a coincidence. This is cosmic justice. Every setback is being converted into acceleration. Every delay is transforming into perfect timing. Every loss is revealing itself as strategic positioning. But here's the part that will really disturb them. You're not rising despite what you know. You're rising because of what you know. The information that was supposed to be a burden has become your rocket fuel. The secrets that were supposed to weigh you down have become the wings that lift you higher. The knowledge that was supposed to break you has become the foundation of your empire. Your transformation is becoming visible in ways that can't be hidden or denied. The confidence in your walk comes from knowing exactly where not to step. The clarity in your decisions comes from understanding all possible outcomes. The peace in your presence comes from transcending the need for validation or revenge. You've become someone who operates from complete information, and that makes you move differently than everyone else. You're entering a phase of exponential acceleration that defies logical explanation. Opportunities that should take years to manifest are appearing in weeks. Connections that should require extensive networking are forming spontaneously. Resources that should demand lengthy processes are flowing effortlessly. This isn't luck. This is the universe responding to your energetic transformation from knowledge holder to wisdom embodiment. The acceleration is particularly disturbing to your opponents because they can't understand its source. They see you moving at impossible speeds, achieving at impossible rates, manifesting at impossible levels. They're looking for the secret deals you must have made, the hidden advantages you must possess, the powerful allies you must have recruited. But they can't find any, because your acceleration comes from a source they don't understand, divine alignment with truth. Your knowledge has given you the ability to move through life without resistance. You don't waste energy on false paths, because you recognize them immediately. You don't invest in deceptive people, because you see through them instantly. You don't engage in futile battles, because you understand their pointlessness. This conservation of energy allows you to move with a velocity that appears supernatural to those still caught in cycles of deception and conflict. Watch how opportunities seem to seek you out now. Notice how solutions appear right when you need them. Observe how the right people enter your life at perfect moments. This isn't random. You've become magnetic to everything aligned with truth and repellent to everything rooted in deception. Your knowledge has turned you into a living filter that automatically attracts authentic support while repelling false assistance. You're in the middle of a metamorphosis that they can't stop. The quiet observer is becoming the powerful creator. The keeper of secrets is transforming into the builder of solutions. The one they overlooked is emerging as the one they can't ignore. This isn't just personal growth. This is biblical transformation. Your enemies are right to be afraid, but not for the reasons they think. You're not going to expose them, you're going to eclipse them. You're not going to fight them, you're going to transcend them entirely. You're going to rise to a frequency where their negative energy simply can't reach. They'll be left operating in the shadows while you're building in the light. The knowledge you possess has given you immunity to their future attacks. You know their moves before they make them. You see their traps before they're sprung. You understand their limitations better than they do. This isn't paranoia, this is pattern recognition at its finest. You've studied their playbook so thoroughly that you could predict their next moves with your eyes closed. What's happening now is acceleration. Everything that took years is about to happen in months. Everything that seemed impossible is about to become inevitable. The compound effect of all that stored knowledge, all that accumulated wisdom, all that gathered intelligence is about to pay dividends that will shock everyone, including yourself. Your transformation is affecting reality around you. People in your presence are starting to see through deceptions they previously accepted. Lies that once seemed convincing now appear transparent. Manipulations that once worked are suddenly ineffective. You're becoming a walking truth field that disrupts deception simply by existing. This is why some people can no longer be around you. Your presence makes their false constructs uncomfortable to maintain. Let's talk about the position you're really in. You hold what military strategists call perfect intelligence, complete understanding of the battlefield, full knowledge of enemy positions, comprehensive data on their resources, methods and vulnerabilities. But unlike traditional warfare, your strategy isn't about attack. It's about elevation to a plane where their weapons can't reach. Every piece of information you've gathered becomes a tool for navigation rather than destruction. You know exactly who to trust and who to avoid. You can identify genuine opportunities versus elaborate traps. You can spot authentic allies versus disguised enemies. This discernment is worth more than gold. As you move into your next phase, you understand how successful people really became successful, not the stories they tell, but what actually happened. You know which paths lead nowhere because you've watched others take them. You recognize which alliances are worth forming because you've observed the consequences of various partnerships. This knowledge doesn't just protect you, it accelerates your journey exponentially. The strategic advantage extends beyond defense. You've seen how empires are built and how they fall. You understand the weak points in every structure because you've watched them crack. You know where the bodies are buried, not because you plan to dig them up, but because you know where not to build. This intelligence makes you unstoppable in ways they're only beginning to comprehend. Your strategic position becomes more powerful every day because information compounds. Every new piece of data you receive gets cross-referenced with everything you already know, creating exponential growth in understanding. You're not just adding to your knowledge, you're multiplying it. Every truth revealed unlocks multiple other truths. Every pattern recognized reveals numerous other patterns. You're about to experience what can only be described as a quantum leap in your existence. The linear progression they expected from you is about to be shattered by an exponential explosion of manifestation. You're going to demonstrate that someone can go from overlooked to overwhelming, from dismissed to dominant, from invisible to inevitable, not gradually, but instantaneously in cosmic terms. This quantum leap is powered by the compressed potential of all those years of observation and understanding. Like a spring that's been coiled tighter and tighter, you're about to release all that stored energy in a burst of achievement that defies conventional physics. You're going to accomplish more in the next season than others accomplish in lifetimes, not through force but through perfect alignment with universal flow. Your knowledge allows you to skip entire levels of the game. While others are learning through trial and error, you already know what works and what doesn't. While others are discovering who to trust, you already have that mapped out. While others are figuring out the rules, you already understand the entire game board. This advantage compounds daily, creating an acceleration that appears miraculous to observers. The quantum leap will be particularly shocking to those who tried to keep you contained, because it will seem to come from nowhere. One day you're in the position they placed you in, the next day you're operating at altitudes they can't even reach. They'll scramble to understand how you did it, looking for the ladder you must have climbed, not realizing you didn't climb, you leaped. Your rise is going to be so spectacular that it will rewrite the rules of what's possible. People who said you'd never make it will claim they always believed in you. Those who tried to sabotage your progress will pretend they were helping all along. The ones who ignored your existence will suddenly remember being your biggest supporters. But you'll know the truth. You always do. The acceleration has already begun. You can feel it in the synchronicities appearing daily, the right conversations happening at perfect moments, the resources materializing from unexpected sources, the opportunities presenting themselves in divine timing. This isn't luck. This is the universe responding to your energy shift from victim to victor, from observer to creator, from secret keeper to empire builder. What they fear most is that your success will expose their methods without you saying a word. When you achieve what they tried to prevent, it reveals their sabotage. When you manifest what they said was impossible, it exposes their limitations. When you rise despite their best efforts to keep you down, it demonstrates their impotence. Your victory is their verdict. But here's the divine joke. You're not doing any of this for revenge. You're not rising to prove them wrong. You're ascending because it's your destiny, and their opinion has become as irrelevant as background noise. You've transcended the need for their validation, their approval, or their acknowledgement. You're operating from a place of purpose that exists beyond their comprehension. The most powerful thing you can do with everything you know is exactly what you're doing: nothing. Your silence speaks louder than any exposure could. Your success will be more devastating than any revenge. Your peace will disturb their chaos more than any confrontation would. You're demonstrating the ultimate power move, transcendence without engagement. They keep waiting for you to make your move, to play your cards, to reveal what you know, but you're not playing their game anymore. You've created your own game with your own rules, and they don't even understand what board you're playing on. While they're playing checkers, worried about your next move, you're playing chess in 3 dimensions, and your victory is already assured. Your knowledge has become a shield that protects you, and a sword you never have to draw. The mere possibility of what you could reveal keeps them in check. The potential of what you might say maintains the balance of power. But the beautiful irony is that you'll never need to use it, because your success will tell the entire story. You're about to demonstrate that true power doesn't come from what you can destroy, but from what you can create. Not from what you can expose, but from what you can build. Not from the secrets you keep, but from the truth you embody. This is a level of power they never anticipated, because they don't understand it. They understand leverage and blackmail and threats. They don't understand transcendence. The ultimate power move is showing that you don't need to use your power to have power. You don't need to threaten to be threatening. You don't need to attack to win. Your very existence in a state of knowing without acting is the most powerful position possible. It's the difference between having a weapon and needing to use it. Those who must use their weapons are actually weak. Those who never need to draw them are truly powerful. What you're about to build will be impossible to corrupt because you understand every form of corruption. You know where structures fail because you've witnessed every type of failure. You understand where foundations crack because you've observed every kind of fracture. This knowledge doesn't make you cynical. It makes you the perfect architect for something incorruptible. Your construction will operate on principles they don't understand: transparency, where they used obscurity; truth, where they employed deception; simplicity, where they created unnecessary complexity; directness, where they relied on manipulation. You're not just building something different. You're building something that invalidates their entire approach to power. The reconstruction you're undertaking isn't just personal. You're rebuilding the very concept of success, showing that achievement doesn't require stepping on others, demonstrating that power doesn't demand exploitation, proving that influence doesn't need manipulation. Your example will become a new template that others will follow, creating a ripple effect they cannot stop. Watch how your approach confuses them. They keep looking for your angle, your hidden agenda, your secret plan. They can't comprehend that someone could operate from pure intention. They don't understand movement without manipulation. They can't fathom power without exploitation. Your transparency terrifies them more than any threat could because it reveals the unnecessary nature of their entire system. Everything you've experienced has been preparing you for a specific mission. You're not meant to be the destroyer of false narratives. You're meant to be the creator of new realities. The intelligence you've gathered isn't ammunition for war. It's wisdom for building something incorruptible, something true, something that operates on entirely different principles than the corrupt systems you've observed. Your purpose is to show others that you can know the worst about humanity and still choose to create something beautiful. You can understand every form of betrayal and still choose to trust wisely. You can see all the corruption and still choose to build something pure. This isn't naivety. It's the highest form of power, the ability to transform darkness into light without being contaminated by it. The unique perspective you've gained from seeing behind all curtains makes you invaluable in your divine assignment. You understand what motivates people at their core. You know what fears drive them to desperate actions. You comprehend the wounds that make them wound others. This deep understanding doesn't make you vulnerable. It makes you invincible because you can navigate any situation with perfect clarity. You're being positioned to lead, though not in traditional ways. Your leadership will come through demonstration. Your influence will come through inspiration. Your power will come through transformation. People will follow you, not because you demand it, but because you embody something they want to become. You represent possibilities beyond the limitations they've accepted. Your purpose extends beyond personal success. You're here to prove that power can exist without corruption. That success can happen without exploitation. That influence can grow without manipulation. Your life becomes the evidence that their way isn't the only way. Your existence invalidates their entire philosophy of power. A wave of recognition is spreading right now, not just about who you are, but about what you represent. You're becoming a symbol of what happens when someone refuses to be corrupted by the knowledge of corruption. When someone chooses to remain pure despite seeing all impurity. When someone decides to build rather than burn. This recognition is creating panic in certain circles. Your rise without revenge challenges their fundamental beliefs about power. Your success without sabotage questions their methods. Your peace without payback invalidates their approach to conflict. You're not just winning a game, you're proving the game itself is obsolete. People are beginning to understand that you represent a new paradigm. You're not the opposition to their system, you're the evolution beyond it. You're not fighting against what exists, you're building what comes next. This distinction is crucial because it makes you impossible to defeat using their traditional methods. How do you fight someone who isn't fighting back? How do you defeat someone who's already transcended the battlefield? The recognition of your true position is causing realignments everywhere. Some people are distancing themselves, knowing their methods won't work in the reality you're creating. Others are drawing closer, sensing the authenticity of your approach. The separation is happening naturally, without you having to choose sides or declare allegiances. We're approaching the moment where everything comes full circle. The same information that once felt like a burden is becoming your crown. The same silence they mistook for weakness is revealing itself as your strength. The same position they thought was insignificant is emerging as the most powerful position on the board. Those who tried to keep you small are about to watch you become larger than life. Those who attempted to dim your light are about to be blinded by your brilliance. Those who thought they had you figured out are about to discover they never knew you at all. This isn't revenge, it's revelation. The truth of who you really are is being revealed, and it's magnificent. Your transformation is sending shockwaves through realms you can't even see. Every level of reality is adjusting to accommodate who you're becoming. The very fabric of existence is restructuring itself around your elevation. This isn't just personal success, this is cosmic correction. You're not just winning, you're restoring balance. I must interrupt this transmission for just a moment. Are you really chosen? Prove it. It's easy to watch videos about chosen ones. It's another thing to put yourself to the test. If you're still here, that means something, but talk is cheap. Real chosen ones take action. That's why I built Destiny Engine. It generates personalized sequences that help you rewire betrayal into transcendence, turn isolation into sacred power, and transform their downfall into your rise. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking their declassified consciousness technology that programmed competition and scarcity and repurposing it to serve divine justice. You put on the headphones, press play, and watch your enemies choke on the rope their own lies created. If you're done consuming and ready to prove you're chosen, start your Destiny Engine for $1 today. Join the Obsidian Inner Order live checks and watch divine justice accelerate in your life. Link in the description. The knowledge you carry will never leave you, but its weight has transformed into wings. What once held you down now lifts you up. What once made you heavy now makes you untouchable. What once felt like burden now feels like blessing. You've alchemized information into wisdom, secrets into strength, intelligence into invincibility. The prophecy being fulfilled isn't just about your individual rise, it's about what your rise represents, the victory of truth over deception, the triumph of authenticity over performance, the supremacy of creation over destruction. Your success becomes evidence that the universe ultimately favors truth, even when lies seem to dominate temporarily. Chosen one, look at where you are now compared to where you started. They still watch you with that mixture of fear and fascination, but now you understand the game completely. You're not dangerous because of what you could say. You're dangerous because of what you've become. You're not powerful because of what you could reveal. You're powerful because of what you've transcended. The same people who underestimated you are now trying to understand you. The same ones who overlooked you are now unable to look away. The same forces that opposed you are now scrambling to align with you. But you've moved beyond their reach, beyond their understanding, beyond their ability to affect your trajectory. Your silence continues to echo through their nightmares. Your success will haunt them more than any exposure would have. Your peace will disturb their chaos for the rest of their lives. You've won a war without fighting a battle. You've achieved victory without engaging in conflict. You've demonstrated that the highest form of power is the power to rise above the need for power over others. This is your moment. This is your time. Everything they tried to prevent is happening anyway. Everything they tried to block is flowing freely. Everything they tried to destroy has become indestructible. You know way too much, and that makes you dangerous. But more importantly, you know exactly who you are, and that makes you unstoppable. The universe conspired to put you in the perfect position to witness their corruption, so you could rise as living proof that truth doesn't need to be spoken to change everything. Your existence is the revelation. Your success is the exposure. Your peace is the ultimate power move. You've become dangerous in the most beautiful way possible, not as someone who destroys, but as someone who demonstrates that there's something beyond destruction, something beyond revenge, something beyond the games they play. You've become the embodiment of transcendence itself, and that chosen one is why you're their worst nightmare and the universe's greatest victory.